I love Lawler's wearing his own shirt.
The he would go to JC Penney and get whatever bedazzled crown shirt he could find that day.
Yeah, why not? Lawler's just so classic, man. When you
Mm-hmm.
think about his approach to wrestling and his longevity in wrestling and how much money he's made for so long, that dude had it figured out, man. What a great gig.
You talked about earlier, the introduction of Tony of being the voice of our childhood. These two, I'm a bit younger than you, Conrad. These two were mine. It
Yeah.
really, really is. The Lawler JR team, it truly was like my childhood. And to think like there's such a, and now Michael Cole, like thinking about it now, Michael Cole for like my son,
Yes.
Michael Cole and Corey Graves, which is crazy. Tony and Excalibur in AEW it's like you always you don't really think about it while it's happening. You don't think about what's going to be the voice of wrestling as it's happening. And that maybe that's because it changes, frequently at times, but man, it's special to think back on. Like that's what narrated professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What about William Regal? We see he's got in a package here talking about John Cena and Randy Orton for the spinner title. What was your experience like with Regal?
I think Regal always kind of like accepted me and took me in because I was with Fit Finley,
I got you.
and he didn't want to do anything obviously to upset Fit, and they were so close always. And so Regal and I always had a very, very good relationship. And it was one of those, man, he's so like revered in wrestling and by everyone in wrestling. I remember what stands out to me most about Regal is his stuff with Tajiri. And I say it all the time. Because he could do the technical, man, he would do the comedy bits. And he was so damn good at pulling that stuff off. And because you saw his personality, that's who he is.
Of
He's
course it
just
is. Yeah.
the most fun human once you get to know him. And he's just such a good guy.
Yeah. He's one of the funniest men ever. He really is.
And it can be such like a dry humor that you almost like question if you heard it correctly. Like, did he just get one over on me? And it always did. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's like Regal, Dean Malenko, two of the funniest guys that I've ever been around in my life.
That no one would expect.
That no one would expect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is interesting to think about some of those big personalities behind the scenes and how they don't always translate to in front of the camera. Like I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but Tony, you acted like Brad Armstrong was similar, right?
Oh yeah. Brad Armstrong had a great personality, and would hit you with one-line quips. Arn Anderson's in that as well.
Oh yeah.
Tony, why do you think that is? Is it just that the cam in front of it's just for some reason that in front of they always say that when the red light comes on, it just doesn't resonate?
Yeah, I guess because they feel like that they're playing a role and they stick with that role. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Doing my commentary through the years. I mean, people didn't realize how I was until we started doing this podcast, and how I really am was nothing like the guy that you saw on Nitro and all that stuff. So, oh, here's Stevie Richards. They're going to get him to whack JBL in the head with a chair, which is one of my favorite moments, actually.
Oh, I love it.
Man, was that. That's how you do a
Supposed to
chair
be
shot,
one of the
boys.
great dudes in wrestling too. I never, I haven't
always.
met Stevie, but I was such a fan of his stuff in ECW. But I know he helped a lot of people with DDPY, and he's got a great YouTube channel now, and I think he's done a tremendous job helping a lot of people. But man, he was in a big battle just for his own life not too long ago. I'm glad he's still with
His post run, almost like Chris Nowinski too, is doing so much post wrestling to help.
Yes.
And it's awesome. The give back that's not even in wrestling. It's not like training or anything. It's just outside stuff that these guys are doing.
We got to talk a little bit about the people that were assholes, Dylan. We've talked a lot about the people that you liked. Give us some dirt. Who were the assholes?
I get asked that a lot. Like I do my podcast, the Going Postl podcast, and I get asked that frequently. Like, oh, how is this guy? Is it true that he was a dick? I truly feel like people. I talked about it like with Regal earlier. I feel like people were great with me because they were afraid of Fit and they were afraid of what Finley would do to him, and if they had a match with him. So everyone was great to me. Like I had zero like locker room bullying or locker room, hazing because I was Fit's kid. And I got lucky because it was kind of like slowing down during this era, but it was still prevalent. And that where the hazing, you hear about it with Miz having to change, in the janitor's closet and getting kicked out of the locker room for weeks. And it happened. I saw it happen, but it never happened to me. And I was really lucky, man. Man, that Carlito haircut. What the hell was he thinking?
That's a wild haircut. This looks
Yeah, he went from the huge afro to that. But no, I was very, very lucky. And I would always say to Finn, I said, I think I'm lucking out because of you. And he would just give me a smile, and he knew it too. But him and I always had the true dad and son relationship, and it was always that. How I still to this day, I wish him a happy Father's Day.
I don't know if there's hazing in the WWE now, but there's no hazing in AEW. I think that's all gone.
I think it's a thing of the past because
I think so. Yeah,
it should have. You're all there for the same reason.
That's
right. In all reality, you're all there to make money. You're all there to make if you're working against each other, you're not there to make why would you want to even do that? It just never made sense to me. I never understood it.
I love this graphic where they're making sure that they're height appropriate. You don't want to make sure that, because normally the guys would fill the whole building, but they make sure since it's against Khali, let's scoot his down.
There's a Survivor Series one with me and Khali too, and I'm literally about an inch tall compared to Khali. I loved those moving graphics, man. That was such a thing that stood out all the time.
Why do people love those so much?
You don't like them?
I just don't see what the hype's about.
I think again, it's like the nostalgia of it. I think people relate it to wrestling when they loved it.
When I was doing Flair's last match, people were requesting it on social, and I sent it to Chris, who does a lot of our graphics and stuff. I go, I don't even know what the fuck this means, but can we get moving graphics? Like, well, I don't know what that even means.
I think we started doing them for a minute.
Yeah. Yep.
And then Mansuri came in, and that was the end of that.